Good morning, Spicy Jody. Hi.
I can't be spicy on this show.
I'm so glad that Bill Barr tone of voice is finally working to our advantage. It's like I'm so accustomed for the last few years. Every time I hear that passive aggressive, that monotone, that slow, I don't recall having that. I don't know. I just, every time I hear that, it drives me nuts. But now it's like, oh, great, bring it on. This is great. It's driving Dinesh D'Souza completely off the rails.
It is, because he called him out on it.
Lots of fun to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dinesh challenged him to a debate over the 2000 Mules documentary to prove that it was real.
Oh,
that will be fun.
We'll be right back.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
In front of a live studio audience.
Let's do it. Your thought. I mean, I'm not going to be able to talk to you tomorrow because I'm not going to be around. I think I told you that.
Yeah.
So I can't. I'm going to ask you now. So your thoughts on what we've heard so far from everybody thus to this point regarding January 6th. I mean, your thoughts about the people testifying and what's been said so far.
The thing I can't get beyond, Jody, is the bigger picture, which is that so many people, whether we're talking about the foot soldiers on the ground who did all the hard work, or the people in the inner circle who planned this whole coup, I still can't believe that they took this caliber of risk in support of this game show host con man. That's the thing that has always confounded me, that all of this that we're going through right now, these hearings and all the trouble, grand juries and investigations and people going to prison, I mean, for good stretches of time in some cases, it's all in service of Donald Trump. There was a clip from last Thursday night's, I think it was hour 2 when they were covering the Proud Boys. There was a clip from one of the insurrectionists. I think it was inside the rotunda of the Capitol building, and it was on camera phone, and the guy said, "I'm willing to lay down my life if it requires it." Is it for Donald Trump, for that ridiculous cartoon character from New York City that we've been making fun of for 50 years, for God's sake? As long as I've been around, Donald Trump has been this goofball who, no one really takes all that seriously. And maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe all of that, that finger pointing and laughing is what caused all of it. But I don't know. I don't think so. I think this is all about his basic inability to accept defeat. I was watching Tuesday's thing, or no, it was Monday.
Monday, yeah.
And as I was watching this whole process laid out, where they're telling him, no, there's no chance you're going to win. No, it's not going to happen. You got a 1 in a million chance. It's like that scene from Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey. Oh yeah, you've got about a 1 in a million chance. Oh, you mean so you mean I have a chance?
Yeah.
So you mean, and that was his mindset. But it all boils down to his inability to accept defeat. He is the sorest of all losers. He's not wired to accept the fact that the American people rejected him, that he failed his party, he failed his own presidency, he failed 400,000 Americans who died from in that last year of his presidency. And so the American people rejected him. And he's incapable. He's not wired to be able to accept that. So naturally, he's going to go to whatever gobbledygook is fed to him from an apparently inebriated Rudy Giuliani.
Now, he says he wasn't drunk, Bob.
Oh, yes. And of course, he's always to be believed. But and that's another remarkable story. And talk about an illustration of what I was just saying, the people who are willing to put their legacies on the line for Donald Trump. Rudy Giuliani is a great example. Now, Rudy was already headed down the dark path. Right. He was already, the cheese was falling off his cracker long ago. But with Rudy, his legacy was, or it could have been, the hero of 9/11, or one of the heroes of 9/11. And instead, he chose sort of the Sarah Palin route. I mean, remember after the 2008 election, Sarah Palin had a choice whether to become a serious politician or to become this goofball rodeo clown on Fox News. She chose goofball rodeo clown on Fox News because of the paycheck. And I guess maybe that's why Rudy did the same sort of thing. Because once again, he could have been this elder statesman of the Republican Party and kind of been a kingmaker,
Yeah.
as they say.
Yeah.
And he instead chose to just go bananas, and culminating in this punchline, orbit of Donald Trump with the hair dye and the Four Seasons and the drunkenness and the
farting,
insurrection. Yeah, the farting and
right.
the hand down his pants in the Borat movie. All of this ridiculousness. And it was all in service, to an extent, for Donald Trump. I can't get beyond that. I mean, it was someone who had worked their way up through, the school of hard knocks in American politics, and had, done all the hard work and built all the character and greased all the palms and done all these things, and achieved this stature in American politics as president of the United States. Maybe I can understand, but Donald Trump, I mean, it's staggering to me. And I don't even feel the need to add any adjectives to that, because it's just self-evident. When you say the name Trump, it just illustrates ridiculousness. And that's the way it's always been.
right?
But yet these people, they just don't seem to care.
Well, yeah, and the Rubes, they think that they could go to Mar-a-Lago and dine with him, and
So many rubes.
and hang out. He hates these people. He would step over them. He wouldn't. He didn't even put an umbrella over his own wife or his son in the rain. I mean, these are people he supposedly loves.
Well, that's the other thing, too. It includes what I'm talking about with regard to Donald Trump. It includes his family. It includes the fact that no matter who it is who's in his inner circle, if they're within arm's reach, they will eventually be thrown under a bus.
Like Ivanka Trump?
Yes, exactly like Ivanka Trump. You know that tweet that he put out on, what is it called? Truth Central?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I thought it was funny that he named her by her first and last name.
Yeah.
As if she had said just Ivanka. We would all been like, who's this Ivanka person he's talking about? That's just a weirdo Trump thing, because he's such a colossal weirdo. But then what he does in that, whatever you want to call it, tweet, post on Truth, whatever it is. He actually accuses his daughter.
There it is.
Right. Yeah. He actually accuses his daughter of perjury.
Right.
Look at that tweet again. He says, no, what she said in her testimony, her sworn testimony, what she said was not what she meant. She was just kissing Barr's butt there. That's and so that was perjury. Donald Trump accused his own daughter
of committing a crime,
perjuring herself.
Yeah.
That's Donald Trump, and everyone is going to be susceptible to that. It doesn't matter who they are or how close they are to Donald Trump. He will eventually steamroll them, and I guess they don't realize that. I guess they need more examples.
Well, and that was, when they did show her testimony, I was like, oh, and he'll call her the coffee girl, in 10 seconds, and and everybody, other people were like, oh no, she's out of the will. She doesn't need to be in his will. She's made her own money. Her brothers need to stay in the will, but she can leave that family anytime she desires, because legally she made a lot of money, and then the illegal gotten gains while in the White House, and the $2 billion that her husband has garnered, that might be taken away, but she still made a lot of money prior to entering the White House as an unpaid consultant. So I think she's being smart on this end for her own brand to walk away.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think she's made an effort in the last few years to distance herself from her dad. Even when she worked in the White House, I think she was kind of stepping slowly away from the horror show. Yeah, just sneaking away. Right. And that's all in service of her own careerism and her desire to make a name for herself, to, in a sense, not just rehabilitate the Trump name out of altruism or something like that, but to rehabilitate the Trump name so she can do something with it. Right. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that it's got to create some interesting conversation at Thanksgiving for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But he'll spend time just with his adoring fans on Thanksgiving before he'd spend time with his family.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts to completely shift gears? What are your thoughts on the gun legislation that may happen in the Senate?
that McConnell has indicated that he
McConnell is
supports.
supporting it. So
Yeah. I'm still, I think, healthily skeptical as to whether or not those 10 Republicans who have agreed to support this legislation will actually step up and break the filibuster when the time comes. Now, make sure. I'm trying not to be cynical about this. I'm just skeptical about, because we've been in this place many times.
Lucy,
I'm just hesitant to become. Yeah, I don't want to be Lucy with the football, Charlie Brown with the football.
Right.
And because that has happened so many times after Sandy Hook, the Manchin-Toomey amendment, which would have closed all kinds of loopholes in the system, that was filibustered, right? Even though it had bipartisan support, Pat Toomey was one of the co-authors of it. And so in that sense, I'm skeptical as to whether this is going to pass. And I'm looking at a lot of the statements that are coming out through that lens. So with Mitch McConnell, for example, he said he was happy with the framework, which doesn't, that gives him a lot of wiggle room to say, well, I like the framework, but then they got their talons into it and they started messing with it. They turned it into something that I just can't support in good conscience because the Second Amendment, blah, 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 blah. And so he's got room
just
to,
like him.
You did. The head came out of the shell to make a statement, and then it went back into the shell.
Right. And so he's got wiggle room to kind of escape from that commitment.
He said if the legislation ends up reflecting what the framework indicates, I'll be supporting it. So it's
right.
If background checks all of a sudden are added in, nope.
That was deliberate. McConnell's reaction right there, every word that he said was deliberately placed to give him an escape hatch. He wants to have that escape hatch. He's going to escape very, very slowly as he kind of meanders toward that crock. But, he's going to try to escape anyway. If he can get around to filibustering this, he'll support the filibuster on that, given the chance. We should be happy when it passes because there's some good things in there, especially given our divisive politics, but I'm waiting and seeing on it whether we'll get there.
They're not even the bill hasn't been written yet. They're not even expected to think about debating it until next month anyway.
Right. And remember, their strategy is to kind of sit tight until this blows over, until people stop paying attention. And it's summertime. People are going to naturally stop paying attention, plus the 1-6 hearings and whatever other dog with a poofy tail comes along. Yeah, exactly. Roe. Yeah. But so there's lots of opportunities to do a misdirect, and we all go running the other way.
But I don't think the Supreme Court's going to get them off because they're ruling on a New York gun law. So as soon as they rule on that, and I have a feeling they're going to overturn the New York law, then guns are back in the discussion, at least for a day or two.
Yeah, that's true.
And then Ohio, I don't understand this. Mike DeWine's decision. He signed a bill permitting teachers to carry guns to class after only 24 hours of firearms training. They have more hours of training to be a teacher.
Right.
To retrain.
They probably have more first aid training than that.
They probably do. More CPR training, many more hours. I mean, they need 180 hours to renew their teaching licenses. And that's not a deadly weapon.
Right.
I mean, unless, of course, they teach CRT. Then it is.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I don't get this. I mean, what?
Well, here's the thing. I think we're sometimes looking at this through the wrong lens as far as arming teachers, bringing in more security guards, bringing more cops to schools, basically turning schools into military installments. The reason they're pushing for this should be abundantly clear, but I think the idea that it's a school is kind of sidelining us. They want to sell as many firearms as they possibly can. And so if we're talking about arming, whatever it is, 100,000 teachers, we're talking about bringing in security guards, we're talking about hiring more cops to patrol school campuses. That's a lot of firearm sales. They want to, the whole mission here, and it's been this way no matter what strata of the conversation we're talking about, the whole mission is to sell as many guns as possible. That's the chief mission of the NRA, the gun lobby at large, the Republican Party, people like Ted Cruz and Rand Paul on down the line. They want to sell as many firearms as possible because more profits for the firearm industry, the for-profit firearm industry. By the way, Second Amendment never says anything about making a profit on firearms.
Thank you.
Maybe there's an angle there. But regardless, the whole idea is to make that profit as big as possible so that there's more money flowing around into Republican war chests, certainly into the NRA and all the executives at the NRA. This is all intentional from a purely fiscal wealth building point of view.
Yeah, I hate it when you're right about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really super cynical these days.
You
I don't know
are.
what's wrong with me.
You are. Enjoy Obi-Wan.
Cynical Cesca.
Enjoy Obi-Wan later today. Cynical Cesca, that's your
I
new
will.
name.
Yep.
Bye, Bob. I'll talk to you next week, okay?
Bye, Jody.
And
Take
subscribe
care.
to
Have
Bob.
a good trip.
Subscribe to the
his
Bob
show.
Cesca Show.
Yes, please
on
do.
your favorite
Yes,
podcast
please.
app.
Thank you.
Please
Yes.
do. Please do. Bye, Bob.